that number is shocking to the liberals who think it's in the thousands. All right, Ralph Starks there in D.C. Ron, in Pennsylvania, Democratic caller. Ron, we're open forum.
Hey, good morning, Greta. Talk about falsehoods. The XL pipeline is they talk about Biden stopping. Was actually stopped by the United States Supreme Court because of all the lawsuits.
So I had turned that up because it was someone on Washington Journal on C-SPAN discussing black women and just talking about how there are a lot of black women who are not married, who do not have fathers, who do not have the things that would be ideal. And there is higher crime rates and different things of that. And I talk about some of them things, and a lot of times too, in my opinion, so many people try to have all the same thing. Everybody want to hold the whole amount from all of the same thing. And so it makes it very difficult when a lot of times so many black men are just away, not in society, that are gone away forever, shipped off somewhere in jail, or have find a better lifestyle too now with somebody else that has better education, better social structures, and a different racial background that can introduce them to stuff that they are not finding on their own, being a part of a system. But there are some black people that have other black people, and there are relationships and things like that. And a lot of times, you just have to continue to be strong, especially in a system of a lot of public things, a lot of as I said, a lot of public aid. It makes it very difficult. You know, just allowing somebody to do things, and then it's like they have a right to take it or whatever. So I don't want to get used to all of those things. I'd rather just take care of myself and know what I want. But there are factors that are just so much. It is just so much. I was in jail. I came out of solitary confinement. I was in segregation. And I was there. I was moved over to Kenosha County Detention Center. They told me I was moved over there for good behavior. But as soon as I got there, they moved me into, without telling me, pushed me basically right up in there and closed the door. It was a cell that barely had any air. Like, it was closed cell. It was plexiglass over it. The cell was nasty. The toilet was full of just fecal matter to the top. Stuck on hard. The water was it was fecal matter all over it. The whole toilet was just filled with somebody else's fecal matter that had been sitting there for a while. That wasn't something that just happened. That fecal matter had been sitting there, and it was dried out in some places, and it smelled so bad. They wouldn't even leave the door open so it can air out or anything. They didn't even want to bring me tissue, or they finally brought me little towel. I had to clean with my hands. They didn't, of course I had to clean with my hands, but I'm saying they didn't bring me much of what I had to use tissue. Then they didn't really want to bring me much of tissue and all that different stuff. So I had to clean that cell myself, somebody else's fecal matter. And I had sat in a cell, a closed cell, at the pretrial facility waiting. Then I had to wait for a while, and I hadn't eaten. I didn't. They didn't give me my commissary. I had a bag for my food, my own food. And they had told me that before they were going to move me, they would ask me. I wrote them a letter and said, well, only if it's for good behavior, talk to me, let me know about it or whatever. The woman said she was going to come back. But all that whole week, it had been all kinds of stuff that was going on throughout the night, throughout the day. It was constant and reoccurring. And so I was constantly writing letters through the kiosk, sitting in appeals, asking them why do they have me locked in. I didn't do anything wrong. They said that they didn't have any room for me. But why would you move me to a place where I was in my own cell? Nobody else was in there. It was room for me at the pretrial facility. You moved me out, and then I had to, and I'm strong. I did what I had to do. I was not about to be up in there like that. And it wasn't like I was just complaining or being disruptive about it. I never was. But I let it be known, I'm not playing any games with anybody. I'm me, and I'm going to keep me. And I'm here today, and I'm very proud of me that I have made it this far. So anyway, I did eventually get my commissary. I was able to get a tablet. I was listening to the tablet. They kept the lights on a lot of times, and sometimes they would turn them off way after 9 o'clock, and it was just all kinds of stuff that would happen. But when I came out, I seen just a whole line of black women waiting to see the nurse. And it was just a whole line of black women. And so it just was something that I had a problem about, and I was just not going to get in that line no matter how hard they tried, because I didn't need to. But it is always something. And I'm not going to have somebody to convince me that I'm inadequate because I do not have something or something that is supposed to be kept from me. I have a right to my way of life. I have a right to experience, like Wisconsin has. The state of Wisconsin has so much of all kinds of stuff. Mountains. Oh my goodness, so much. It's not the best of everything. I'm going to say that right now. But it's more than I ever knew that Wisconsin had. And I began to read through the website last year, and I found a lot of stuff that could benefit me. But although it's a case, the state of Wisconsin versus Jasmine Davis. Okay? So I'm going to I remember that. But so I know these things happen. When I was in jail, I wrote the situation. It was like, just discussing about how, like, you keeping black people from black people. Black people keep black people from black people. They're in jail or whatever, and then they have to depend on something of someone else's belief, and then they starve knowledge and starve independence and all kinds of things to be able to succeed. When someone is focusing more time on abusing a person to get ahead instead of just going their own way and using their natural abilities and their natural talents to get ahead, where they keep information, and when they want to know everything about somebody else, where they're tapping in everything so that they can constantly be ahead. Anything creative that I have, anything creative that I am doing, they want the information. They want to know all about it. They have to have everything that I have. Every friendship, everything, every thought, every action, all of me. But they can't have all of me. but they want to continue to be ahead, and then they take the knowledge that they want to, and then they try to continually deprive me, and then they keep their information, knowledge, simple things like technology, financial wellness, nutrition, food, different things, laws, things that I'm supposed to be able to know. They have very small amounts of it. Yes, and the phones have access to all kinds of things, but then sometimes that's limited. I walk into a place and then I have this phone that I pay for, supposed to be 5G internet, and I don't get 5G. I have screenshots ever since I got the phone. It gives me problems. So then I log on to someone else's Wi-Fi to try to use my phone that I pay a bill for every month for a service that I am not getting. And then those people can tap in and they search all through my phone and they do whatever they want to do, get whatever information out and going on about their business and think they know me. And then they put blocks in my phone to prevent me from going on specific websites or specific things. And they attach those restrictions to my name, to my date of birth, to whatever it is I am doing. But they can't hold me. No matter what they try to implant, no matter what they try to influence, no matter what they're trying to do. So that is my comment from what I heard being said. I didn't hear all of it. I heard some of it. Because I wasn't paying attention to it. I was doing some things. But when I heard something about some black women, and, you know, I already know. I'm not going to say that I appreciate the way that some of the things that I'm hearing, how this woman is talking on Washington Journal, on C-SPAN, and how she's talking to some of the people that call, but that's not my business. So I ain't really had, you know, I've been kind of listening to what I find useful, and I don't have to listen to her show. It's not about her. It's about the information that I am getting for myself. And so for someone, a black man, to call in and discuss about how black women should have that black male presence is important. Anytime everybody had to depend on one successful black man, or just 5 successful, thousands of people depending on 5 successful black men. And then there's limits, because not only are the black people needing them, the white people and everybody. And so the black woman is getting whatever. I have to get whatever I get for myself. I have to be me. I have to go out and get what I have to get on myself. It's more than just Wisconsin. And I know that, and I'm not going to just settle for anything. I know that this is a career time. I know the things that are put in perspective, but I'm not going to have them people to constantly try to jail me and put me through all kinds of stuff, because I'm not going to accept what they are trying to settle to me. They're trying to send me to jail and take my phone and all kinds of stuff, deprive me. It was a couple dollars I had set. It was kind of weird because I had kept my little pouch that I have my bus pass on, and I have put some little money in there, and I do different things or whatever. But then I had looked in there, and there was some extra dollars and some quarters in there. And I said, you know, I don't know what happened with that or whatever, but I'm not going to accept that as any form of payment for whatever somebody is trying to do. So I'm not spending that money at all. So, you know, people try to be nice, people try to be kind, you know, and things like that. And I understand that, sure. But I am not going to accept $3, $4, $5, and I know that I have a long way that I have to be successful with for myself. And that means to me that I didn't ask for that, and it's not about that. That is, I don't know what that meant, but that wasn't mine. Now I don't know if I look at the money and see different things about the money. I don't know, but that money is, I have it with me, but I'm not going to spend that money. I know that I have my being, and that's what is very important to me. And so, yeah, it's me just saying, it's nice to have different things, of course, and I'm sure. And I'm not saying that there is a lack all the time. But what I'm doing is replying to something that was very real and something that was just true in a lot of sense in a lot of areas. All over the place. It's been like that from the beginning of time. And people have these things at their leisure, and they do what they would like to do. And of course, there are black people that have things at their leisure too. So I'm not getting it mistaken. But it comes at a price and a cost. And there's always somebody. Like me, I had everything. I had a house that paid for. I had cars, trucks. I had all kinds of things, all paid for. All my stuff. I didn't have to go out here and sweat and do all kinds of things for somebody else. I have my own ways that I can sweat for myself. I have all kinds of things that I have for me. And my house was basically funneled through a drastic system where it was misappropriated. The amount that they sold that house for was probably like 4 or 5 times the amount that they purchased it from me. They had there was a black man who tried, and he told me he was on, he's like, well, that's all it's worth. You ain't gonna get no more. My sister is a real estate agent and this and that. And I talked with the man. I met with him at a restaurant, and I paid for the food and everything. That I met him, and I paid for the food at the restaurant to sit and talk to him about him buying my house that I really wasn't trying to sell, but I didn't want the nursing home or I didn't want Kenosha County taking my house. And so I had to do what I had to do right away, because they were threatening to try to take my house, and I was not having it. And so I'm going to talk more about that as well. But they did all of this stuff seems like it was just all gathered together, in which I didn't even owe that nurse home, because that nurse, after that 30 days that the insurance had paid, I said, no, I'm going to bring him with me. They said, no, it's okay. We keep him here longer. We're going to make sure that he has, that it is paid for. I went through all kinds of stuff. They even had called set me up, while guests were visiting. They called, they were mean to me, rude to me. I was coming up there. They called the police on me and had me arrested. They were dishonest, all kinds of stuff I had to go through with those people. They had me going through depositions. I had contacted them, and they said, well, I don't owe them any money, but this record, I said, well, you need to change that or whatever. And I talked to the attorney. He said he doesn't know why the nursing home said that and I owe them or whatever. I talked to them. Oh, it's a lot of things. But anyway, the man's daughter, the black man's daughter, kept calling me, harassing me, yelling at me, fussing at me. Oh, you need to hurry up. I need to buy this house. I need somewhere to stay. Constantly just telling me I need to make up my mind. I'm taking too long. Calling my phone, telling me I need to hurry up and sell her house because she needs somewhere to live. Like who promised you this is my house? What do you mean? I don't even know if I want to sell you my house. I don't even know if I want to sell my house. And you putting me through all kinds of stuff. I had to sell my cars and everything all my stuff to be able to get away from that house. That was a lot. Those cars were paid for. A Cadillac, a Dodge Ram, a Corvette. And people want to take advantage and just say, oh, they can't get, they know that they already knew. So they like, oh, well, the city is going to take it or whatever. But that man's daughter she kept calling me, harassing me, just being fucked up and mean to me. And I was trying to be nice to her. I had to let her know, you know what? No, I'm not selling y'all my house. You're not going to treat me like this. And so all of a sudden, it didn't work out. Then this other man started, then I told him I want, and then somebody else had called random and asking for the same amount that those two people, all of them had the same amount that they were asking. It was so strange. And so they kept telling me nobody else is going to buy, but it was a real estate agent I had, and she told me that I could have got twice as much. There was a black man real estate agent, and I should have just continued, but I was trying to listen to what them people were saying to me. And then the person that I so-called sold it to him as he's trying to help me find somewhere to rent. That is not fair to me. Because I was supposed to be purchasing a house after a year or whatever. I was paying $2,300. But why would I sell my house that I own and I don't owe any money on to rent out an apartment or a house? So then that person said that if I sell the house, because I was talking about how that money, it just wasn't enough. It was, and then I had to pay to have all the stuff move, and I had to do all kinds of stuff, and I had to put money on the house that I had to do a lot of different stuff. And so he's like, they go on missions, they go over to other countries, and that I can do those things, and that he would make sure that I will continually be able to go to those things. He was not charging me money. He was saying if I sold my house, then that would be a part of the deal. But they had started taking stuff out of the house where it was, they said that they wanted to be able to come in the house and look around. They were shopping for stuff that we had already there. Hats, all kinds, stove, all this stuff were being moved out of the house before it was even sold. Not asking what I wanted to do for my community, what I wanted to give to people. They decided before they even purchased the home that they were going to come in there and take whatever they wanted to take up out of there. I was still in my 20s and not that, and trying to have education. I had so much that I had going on with me, and I was handling on my own, and those people represented something that I believed in, and it was not true to me. Eventually, I found that. And then they say, well, no, we're not associated with, well, then why did that person use your name and use your system and say that this was all about you and use you throughout the whole communication and event of the whole purchase, the whole buying transaction or whatever, throughout the whole purchase, the sale and the purchase. They tore out the bathroom, they tore out all kinds of stuff before I even sold them the house. I was talking to this woman, she was a real estate agent, all kinds of stuff. She was trying to sue me and talk to me through. I was really upset with her, going back and forth. They had eventually tried to threaten me and all kinds of stuff, because they didn't hold good to what they said. So I went through all kinds of shit, and I was not trying to go to jail. I was not trying to do all kinds of stuff. And eventually that house was sold. I could not fix the outside of the house. I could not fix the damage that the tenants had did. And I surely couldn't fix putting all that stuff up in that house like that. I just didn't see it, but I should have known. I should have kept my house. and took their ass right to court because of what they did. And I talked to them. And I don't find it funny because when I said, when are you going to buy me a house from what you did? I'm not playing any games. That's the only reason why I walked up there, and I let them know I'm me. I don't have anything against you. Like I don't envy you or anything like that. See what I'm saying? But the problem is when all of this stuff is happening to me and you all just do it like that and you try to say that I'm no. So I count on my own self of who I am, and I allow time to continue. I tell myself, I tell my situation, because it's really important to me all the time. And so all of those people that were telling me, okay, yeah, go ahead and sell the house, put the money in the bank, you know, all of these different things, they should have been telling me, don't sell that house. That house is something. And then I went through a cycle of a lot of stress, not having my own anymore, having to deal with all kinds of bullshit, courts, and just going through all kinds of stuff that those people put me in through a system that seems to be very orchestrated and scripted. And so when I have things I want for myself, I have to figure out ways to make that happen for me. Because I know what it's like to actually have not, and like I said, I didn't buy from the bank, and the bank didn't give money. That house was paid for on its own, on from money to one person to another. All I had to do was pay like $1,000 something taxes per year, please. There was no education. The city ain't tell me about all these different things that they have and all these different supports. Right away, they tell me if I don't pay a specific amount, and I was still trying to learn how to take care of these things, how to make sure that these bills are continued. I was learning. I was trying. I was going through all kinds of stuff. I was experiencing. I was coming into different things. I was trying to make sure that everybody had what they had normally in society at that time, and to stay ahead and to have a specific image and to keep up with all of the gossip and all of the things that were going on. And here I am today, standing on my own 2 feet, doing what I have to do, getting ready to go back out there into the streets and make it through. So when I hear somebody talk about how black women could be struggling, when black women are going through all kinds of stuff, and I wanted to really hear it. I know sometimes that they replay these things and I don't know. But when I hear somebody, I want to know, what are you talking about? Because this is a thing that has been happening for a long time. The strength, the being of myself constantly being questioned. I don't have to be discounted or deprived for anybody. And I'm going to prove who I am. And I'm going to show that I am a beautiful black woman. Why these people try to keep me out of grocery stores, try to turn them into clubs. They don't want people to see me. People are talking to me in the stores or whatever. That's how people can see who I am. That I actually am relevant, that I exist, that I'm present, that I'm here. So they try to kick me out of these places because I can talk to whoever. The library try to prevent people from talking to me constantly. I don't know what those people's problem is, but I'm not going to allow it. But I'm not going to let them white women beat me up in them grocery stores like they've been trying to fucking do. And I have it on video. 3 white women, one at Fresh Time, one at Pick and Save, and also one at Myers, to literally put themselves onto me and tried to move me for just standing somewhere, and they wanted me to fucking move out their way while I'm shopping. I don't have to stop shopping for you. And plus, you're not even asking me the right motherfucking way. You better guess again. Because I'm not opening up to you. I'm here shopping, and you go about your business and you shop. Police have been called on me and all kinds of stuff. I have been accused of shoplifting and all kinds of things. So I go through all kinds of stuff over and over and over again. As what else could the problem possibly be? But I know that things are getting better. But this has been hundreds of years of things that are constantly where people are picking them up and they are trying to re-perform and do all kinds of things. And they pushing that envelope, they pushing that narrative. They think they got it going on. They literally gave me a cup that they don't even use. And I have the video. The manager literally smelled the water, and she said, "This is sanitizing water. Are you using this to clean something?" They gave me that water, and they warmed it up in they warmed the water with the cleaning fluid up and gave me the cleaning water. I have it on my video right on this page. And she was so rude to me, so disrespectful, all kinds of stuff. Later toward the next day or whatever, I tried to warm. It rained. I was walking. I spent money places or whatever. I left a tip. I tried. Rained all on. Went to a hotel. Tried to dry out my stuff and all that. Got kicked out of the bathroom trying to dry my stuff out. It was not the warmest day or evening or whatever. Police asking me, they said they ain't called the police on me. Somebody came and tried to offer me money. I didn't accept the money from him. Called a cab to Walgreens, open 24 hours. They called the police on me. The police stepping all on the back of my shoes and all that. Left there, went to Quick Trip. They asked some strangers asking me where I'm from, asking me all kinds of stuff about me. The clerk is all kinds of ways or whatever. And then they called the police and so-called trespassed me out of there. And I have the video showing. But the police is telling these people, after they're saying that they don't want to kick me out, apparently, or whatever, the police is convincing them to trespass me. So it's a thing of what could the problem possibly be besides them wanting something from me that I am not trying to give them. I need my own life. And it would be nice. I know what I have, I know what I had, and I know what I can have continually. I know I'm me. And so when that person talks about male role models and a black male role models in a black woman's life, I'm listening because it is important. That being said, these black women don't even have dads sometimes. And it's like that with black people a lot of times. People try to claim you until everybody else don't like you, and then they don't want you anymore. And that's fine because I'm me. I know what I am doing is for my well-being and for my good. And if there are those who doubt me, then they just doubt me. But I'm going to make a believer out of myself. I'm going to do all I can to prove. Even if I only can put out what I want to do, what I plan to do, what I set out for. I'm going to stand on mine. Them people not going to keep abusing me and taking away and oppressing and enslaving and depriving and doing all kinds of stuff like that they do constantly. I speak on these things. It is proof. People know how these things are. But I had my own house. I had all my stuff that I didn't even have to be in that type of environment. And soon as I start really stepping into public aid, but it was happening in the school system, or ever since elementary. And people did not want to fucking teach me. They were suspending me. They didn't want to really teach. I was good at spelling, math, reading. I was a good student. I was intelligent, but I wanted more. And they would say, I just keep talking in class and all that different stuff. Because you're not talking to me. You're not teaching me. You don't know how to teach me, apparently. You trying to have social workers talking to me, asking me about things that's going on in my house that you have nothing to, just being nosy, trying to figure out how people, and it's been like that. And they continue to cycle. But see, they didn't get away with that shit. But then eventually they continued. Try to cycle me and funnel me and keep me away from other students, keep me away from all kinds of people. They tried to expel me and I made straight A's. That still didn't fucking matter to them. Got gold cards, all that stuff. I know that I'm intelligent enough. I was tutoring at Bain and all that. In 8th grade, I was tutoring at Bain. Right there on 22nd Avenue and 52nd Street. That was Bain School. Bain School was right there, and I was a tutor at that school. It's a lot of stuff that people don't know. But those people who are keeping records, they know. And that's a problem. And so that's okay. A lot of black men have responsibility that they have to do to make it through and see better days for themselves. And to stay out of harm's way and to stay out of trouble and not get lynched or abused or put up in jail. Black men have a hard time. Always have had a hard time. And so me as a black woman, I'm doing more and more I can, not only to make it, to show how beautiful a black woman is. Because that's all, I'm a black woman. But to also prove myself and my well-being, to add some kind of light onto to the path. The truth. People are trying. And there's a lot of responsibility. And so I'm doing all that I can to continue to live my life and enjoy who I am. Appreciate who I am and the likes of me. So if I want something for myself, if I want to build my own things, if I want to do all the stuff, I'm going to continue to do it. And when things come my way, if I identify in a specific way where I see it's something that I want or whatever, then that's when I can have that conversation. But I'm not just going, there was times where I used to just go up to a man and say hi, you know, whatever, and just want that experience because it was something that I just did not have. And I have even less of it today. But I have more of me. I'm not just going to accept anything that somebody put in my path. I know who I am and I'm confident in me. And things are going to get better. People are working, people are doing things, people are trying. This is it's a movement, but it's more than a movement. This has been something through civil rights and just human rights and affirmative actions and oh my goodness, it's so much of it. Talk about reparations. Just talk about being able to keep life. There's a lot of competition where people run to things and know nothing about it. Don't have access to it's museums and it's libraries just for different focuses that people want to go to, and they go and they go to these places and they don't further educate. They say, you know, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's they say. My people perish for lack of knowledge. They say, and I'm saying education is everything. Education is important. Get what you have to get for yourself. Information, knowledge, understanding, intelligence. It is important. People are coming up with all kinds of things, and it's just a competitive thing. People, and not only is it it's just so much now where other people are taking a hold of all communities, cities, countries to push their further narrative. They're not, those other places are not letting people just in and out and dropping off their lows and doing whatever they want to do. They're checking in and they're knowing. And those people are constantly advancing and striving. And they are very competitive and they're very successful. And they have lots of money and they have lots of sources. They have all kinds of things. And they know what it requires, beauty, strength, or whatever. But meanwhile, there is public insurance that will snatch teeth out, that won't give food, that will derive, just give the little bit of the food or whatever, or rather give a baby made up milk instead of educating the parents on how to produce more human milk, or not even if it's the formula, okay? Having enough in that, making sure that is proper. And then they have things like coconut milk and all kinds of different natural milks and things like that. And they say it's not for people can give their child or themselves whatever they want to. Anytime these people can formulate things and different stuff, and they say, well, this has to be a specific kind of way or something like that. So I see how it is. Anytime some white woman want to get to somewhere where I'm looking at and pushes me around and puts her little hands on, and it was another woman too who literally fucking touched my arm and everything, and it's a black woman up in there taking her side after all the shit that they put me through. That woman literally, and these people, if it were me, I would have been in motherfucking jail. So all that stuff need to be looked into. I'm not playing these games with them. And so they kicked me out of the store because they have their little people or whatever they doing. And I'm not fighting them like that. And they trying to find a way to hold me down, like that woman at Piggly Wiggly said. It's over. It's like she gonna make sure that I get locked up forever. It's over for me. That's what the woman told the host, announced the shit at Piggly Wiggly. Get the footage. In Kenosha off 30th Avenue, 14th place or something like that. Then the man kept saying, oh no, you can record, and then they gonna say they gonna take my phone. But he said, so that's what I said, these people trying so hard, and what they don't know is that they are being, they're misusing themselves. And so I don't have to go through that type of thing. I'm going to continue to be myself and who I am. Just appreciating the relevance of me. And so I had shared that because it's something that I want to understand. My goodness. I'm just talking about this. I didn't even know they were talking about that.
neighbors as we commit to fighting for reparations, voting rights, ending police brutality, investing in Black maternal health, HBCUs, and so much more. Mr. Speaker, the Supreme Court is not facing an ethics crisis, it's a corruption crisis. But it seems like that every single day there's new headlines about more.
And for me to find the words and know how to communicate different things to be understood is very important.
Corrupt extremists accountable. It is extremely disturbing that the United States Supreme Court, the highest court of our land, is the only court that does not have enforceable code of conduct. Justice Thomas, which my residents call corruption clearance, has received over $4 million in 193 gifts, including multiple vacations, flights on private jets, helicopter rides, Mr. Speaker, and yacht trips from Republican billionaire mega donors like Harlan Crow, who actually have cases before the court. And we are supposed to expect this court to hold itself accountable? Give me a break. One of these luxury trips actually costs $500,000. And it's not just corrupt Clarence, it's Justice Alito, who has also been hit with numerous scandals recently, including accepting luxury trips and fighting insurrectionists.
So I don't know about all that stuff, and I'm not going to have my page being on all that different stuff. I can try to comprehend what is being said or whatever, but I'm not going to tell people what they going to, I'm going to talk about, why people are using their money. And they do use people as tools to get ahead, and they constantly oppress. And they do put people in position of power just to use them for or a specific thing or a token. But I don't know the means of any of that stuff. So I know that a lot of time judges can't even take naked photographs. Judges have to be very particular, and that's why I said for me to even make friends in a position of power and all that different stuff and all that I go through, and I try, and I have been trying to prove myself for a long time, and I'm going to continue to prove myself because I have power. I have my own power. I have my own being, and I know who I am, and I know what matters. And so this is very important to me. I'm not the only one talking about this stuff. So this is a huge problem. And I'm awake. Everyone has an opportunity to speak for themselves, and it's just something. Everyone has their specific thing that they're bringing forth. And it's enough people around here to do it. And they need to start educating more and more people that have the knowledge and the understanding about some of these things. Some people are not, you're not going to find it in a book. And they know, and people know, I know that they're not going to find it. That's why they follow me. They do all kinds of things. And it's like gang stalking is what I learned is this word, gang stalking. These same people coming up to me, acting like they know me, trying to talk to me and try to convince me that I did something wrong in my goddamn conversation. And they always just right there. You got your friends right there with you while you at work, trying to protect your bullshit because you want to be the only person there, and you don't even know your job. And all I'm doing is trying to be myself while you trying to make your living off of me and mine. And so it's very important. For real. I have to continue to live my life and be who I am. And then, how are people really considering? Okay, they go and they have children with black people, but then on the other side of it, they fighting against black women. They fighting against black men, fighting against black children. Fighting not only against, but abusing, enslaving, overpowering, being dishonest too. All of that. And if somebody believes like, okay, this is all I see. Okay, I believe you. And don't have the education, don't have the knowledge. And one time in high school, they were teaching me things that I had already learned in middle school. I was not interested. They couldn't tell me a goddamn thing. I'm going to keep it real with you. Because it was an insult to me for them to try to confine me in places. For what reason? Where I know that there is better education being taught right in the same building. Calculus. All kinds of stuff. The farthest I went through algebra connections. Algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2. They started me off very fucking low. And I was, the teacher even said, all I had to do was see the problem one time. She showed me the problem one time. And I even went to summer school and all that. I bring my cousin with me. My cousin from out of town. I was bringing her with me to school. To summer school. I'm keeping it real. And I was myself. So there is a problem. I've always cared. I've always been. And I ain't never try to just kick somebody up out of my house like that. So it's always something. Somebody always have something to say. But there's way more to the story. And it's not always about not having money. It's about having money. It's about having something. And I'm constantly learning more and more about money. I'm going to constantly improve myself and do the things that I have to do. I know who I am. And I know who I am. And now, as far as the surroundings, as far as where, Davis, the name Davis, and so many things come from, and a lot of those things is very important. But there should be some, I should be able to experience some kind of, like everywhere, they never want any males to be around me. White men, anywhere. No, they don't want no men around me. through different programs or whatever. It just they give me a hard time. And you know what? Now I know I don't need your shit. I'm walking away. I'm me. I don't want you. You for what? And all you doing is trying to take me from me. You want all this information about me and my personal life that has nothing to do with this situation. You're constantly doing things. Now, not only that, you want to know everything about everybody that I know, and you want their phone number so that you can stalk them and you can interrupt them, and they're in leadership positions and all kinds of things. And you can say that I gave them the number, and you start talking to them on a regular basis and force them into something. That's like on probation. They went and they contacted people and got people's phone number. The probation officer was oh yeah, she started saying we about a person that she was calling on a leadership position. She combined, now it was a we thing. She took ownership of that person and that situation. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go meet them or not. Yeah, all this different stuff. And oh yeah, I just want you to know this and I want you to know that. Okay, so what? Now it's yours. Okay, fine. Go right ahead. You still are dishonest. You still not me. I'm still moving forward. I don't have to deal with you. They falsify things. They do all kinds of things. And it's just not fair at all. I'm trying.
4 out of 5 SNAP households include a child, an elderly individual, or a person with a disability. I know because my district ranks among the highest in California and the 6th highest in the nation. So SNAP is more than a lifeline. Why? Because it also benefits local economies and cuts hunger by 30%. Every dollar spent on SNAP generates economic activity and support for our farmers and small businesses, and obviously puts food in those families' dinner table. Nothing is more challenging than
all this stuff like rural housing and all kinds of things. People, they want loans, they can get loans. They don't have to have a house in the inner city. It's money all over the place to assist people. I had a whole book of research that I was constantly working on. And when I had got arrested, that book came up missing. They let people in and out of my car and all kinds of stuff. And they so-called said that I was in the wrong.
Consent to address the House for 5 minutes. Today I rise to recognize the Owosso Fire Department, which was recently recognized as the Firehouse of the Year by the Washington State Firefighters Association. First responders and firefighters are on the front lines of keeping out
No, I'm trying.
Many of them are doing this as volunteers.
I need to hear something.
Serving their community. At the Owosso Fire Department, the ambulance component is entirely run by and operated by their volunteers. Whether it's a wildfire or a house flood, our first responders are constantly prepared for the emergencies throughout our community. In this last year, the Owosso Fire Department was responsible for transporting more than 200 patients and traveling over 23,000 miles. The crucial role they play can't be done without proper funding, which is why I will always fight to bring back the federal dollars they deserve. I'm honored to have such a hardworking and outstanding fire department in my district. Thank you to all of the brave members of the Owosso Fire Department, and a special thanks to Sparky the Fire Dog for keeping everyone's spirits high. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Andrew Okerlund, a young mountain climber in my district. Last summer, Andrew became the 91st person to summit the 100 highest peaks in Washington State.
I have to get information and find out what it means to me. But I have my own stuff.
Turned 21 this past March, making him the youngest person ever to complete the Boulder List. He started his climbing journey just 2 years prior, when he became inspired by the stories of other young people who had competed in the 100 summits. Andrew's meticulous planning and grit was evident throughout his trek, from precise meal planning to his high standards for climbing partners. Each decision made in the 85 days strength, and I applaud him for such an impressive feat. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Angelina Rodriguez Caldwell, a freshman at Kelso High School. Angelina was just named Southwest Washington's STEM Rising Star in recognition of her work as an active member of the school's medical club known as Club Med. Her time in Club Med has allowed her to participate.
Oh, there's a whole high school in Wisconsin and I tried to get my daughter into it, and they put me through all kind of court shit. I didn't even know that they were having trial and all kinds of stuff, but my daughter would have went to that school. It's a high school in Wisconsin that get on the list right now. It teaches all medical science, all that stuff. It is one of the highest ranking schools in Wisconsin.
Congratulations, Angelina. I can't wait to see what
Wisconsin has all kind of learning things, and Kenosha have to do better. This don't make any damn sense. All the little shit get funneled through and all that. No, it's more here. They are not teaching black people, and black people are the ones that they want to push onto welfare and Social Security. Yeah, Social Security is somebody's money that they put into, and they're entitled to it. That is sure. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to play sick for you, and I know that I can be healthy, and I know that I can be well. I don't have to be your blind study through the test of times constantly, over and over and over again. And there are literally schools and places right here in Wisconsin that literally is the whole school is designed to educate. The everything is about science and just all like high class map. Everything is high class, and it's a public school. And they're gonna tell me that I'm an inadequate parent. No, because they want to try to make it seem like they have so much. They want to give a little bit to somebody that they think that never had anything, or for years they neglect. And then they say, well, see, the person had to be so desperate just to accept a little bit of something. One room while, or whatever the situation is. I'll be outside. I'm outside. But I have me. I know who I am. There are schools and education where people have to send their child to school. They have to learn. But why try to tell somebody that they have to work in a nursing home or something, and not also say, I want to train you in a hospital too? I want you to understand what happens. There is just lists of schools that are here. The schools were not that high on the list, but Lakeview School was on the list. It's a gateway high school, and I don't know a lot about it, but when I was in school, they would say like there would be like 18 credits after graduating from school that a person would have, and they teach different things like automotives, perhaps, and how to fix cars, like mechanics and stuff like that. But Lakeview Technical High School, whatever it is, that was higher on the list, and that's a Kenosha school.
In 1974, he moved to Los Angeles and was named senior pastor of Holman United Methodist Church,
Lakeview Technology Academy. And that's at 9449 88th Avenue in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, 53158. It says Lakeview Technical Academy is a vocational high school in the Kenosha Unified School District in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. It serves students grades 9 to 12 from all across KUSD with a focus on STEM education. Lakeview opened in the fall of 1997 as a response to overcrowding in KUSD. See, I didn't even know that it was STEM. See what I'm saying? Some people don't even know. They describe different things, and it's always best to know the information for self. And I'm growing. And that's why I said I'm not going to allow these people to stop me, and I'm growing, and I'm learning. And I enjoy sharing and knowing. And sharing is not to an extent of sharing. Not to say I'm going to give my life away or anything, but to talk about the things that I know and the things that are.
Second overall to the Lakers, beginning a career that would span over 40 years. As a player, West dominated the backcourt, garnering all-star honors in each of his 14 playing seasons and bringing home a championship in 1972. Upon his retirement, he came back to the Lakers as a head coach, then scout, and finally as an executive where he truly thrived. West constructed the Lakers' 1980 Showtime dynasty, which helped bring the NBA into the mainstream and won 5 championships. Towards the end of his tenure as general manager, he orchestrated the trade for Kobe and signed Shaq, leading to a championship.
So this list is saying that Lakeview Technology Academy, this is from usnews.com. And I don't know how serious it is or whatever, but it's saying that Lakeview is number 2. Number 1 is Whitefish Bay High School at 1200 East Fairmount Avenue in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, 53217. And then there's Lakeview Technology Academy. And then there's Brookfield East High School at 3305 North Lily Road, Brookfield, Wisconsin. And then there's the number 4, the High School of Health Sciences. And that's at 349 North Oak Crest Drive, Wells, Wisconsin. And so there are so many it says Whitefish Bay High School is ranked first within Wisconsin. Students have the opportunity to take advanced placement coursework and exams. The AP participation rate at Whitefish Bay School is 71%. The total minority enrollment is 27%, and 2% of students are economically disadvantaged. Whitefish Bay High School is the only high school in the Whitefish Bay School District. So instead of people trying to separate people who they find poor or inadequate or whatever and keep those people away so that they don't know, that they don't understand that, so they basically are walking on top of one another or whatever, they should be able to open doors and understand. If there is something that Kenosha cannot teach, they have to transport the child to another school in another district, and it's been many times that they are not teaching. My son had to go, and my son, I'm not trying to get him in any trouble or anything. This is my opinion. But they had, I've seen plenty of times I went to pick him up, they telling him to walk all on the back of his shoes and put his shoes all up. Now, why are you not assisting? You know what I'm saying? Walking on the back. That's not how he have been. But they allowed that, and then I've sent him to school in one way, and then he's looking some other kind of way.
And to this day, it continues to stand as a living monument of baseball history.
And so, but I'm not going to talk about that too much right now. But what I'm saying is, between 1943 and 1948, they racked up a win. College Readiness Index rank. I've been in, I would know, some things they just won't teach. They don't even want that communication to be said because some people already have so much.
Galvanized and united Birmingham's black community. The stands were always overflowing with fans, eager to cheer on their favorite team. Over the years, Rickwood Field has hosted a number of baseball giants.
U.S. News calculates these values for schools based on student performance on state-required tests and internationally available exams. A lot of those tests is not fair as well because they're not even teaching. Or a lot of stuff is only teach just to pass the test so that they can get the money. They're not teaching what really needs to be taught. it contradicts itself in such a way.
Rickwood Field has undergone major renovations. Beginning on Tuesday, June 18th, it will host a series of events to pay tribute to the Negro Leagues and to recognize
It says even the best colleges in Wisconsin: University of Wisconsin Madison, Marquette University, University of Wisconsin La Crosse, Edgewood College.
at the Montgomery Biscuits. On Wednesday, June 19th, to commemorate June
But this school right here is the only high school, but it's only it's 70.
Black Barons from 1948 to 1951.
Look at that.
1 p.m. at the Bethel Baptist Church, Burning Point.
So that's saying something.
Birmingham community will join together with MLB for a celebrity softball game in celebration of Juneteenth.
It's mainly
Culminate with
white people. 73% is white people.
between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants.
But meanwhile, Wisconsin is failing black people all around. Racine and Kenosha have terrible rates for black success in school. And these kids are graduating from high school not even really knowing anything. They just pushing, talking about no child left behind.
I look forward to welcoming the Major League Baseball and my colleagues of the Congressional
I was watching prom one day and just some of it. And I happened to kind of turn toward it or whatever. And there was somebody on there that said they don't know how they graduated, but they graduated. They aren't really teaching like that. So, and they want to know, a lot of times when I was in high school, I was having to explain a lot about my fashion. I was having to explain about a lot of different stuff. Too many things like that. Where are the leaders? Not the oppressors. Not the people who are trying to just do and get in other people's business and learn about somebody and their family, their community, their heritage, their culture, or something, trying to get in good and take away. But where are these people who have their own? That's what I want to know. Educate somebody. People should be able to educate themselves and learn, and that's what I'm doing.
I want to thank Tom Schatz and his staff for continuing to shine the light on one of Congress's most tawdry and wasteful practices, in which individual congressmen bypass merit-driven competition and instead...
Yeah, so I had looked at this, and it's the High School of Health Sciences is ranked 4th within Wisconsin. Students have the opportunity to take advantage of the advanced placement coursework and exams. The AP participation rate at High School of Health Sciences is 61%. The total minority enrollment is 12%. 8% of the students are economically disadvantaged. Now I want to say something. Many times they're saying, because I've worked in the health, I've worked in literally home health care. I don't always get paid, but I went to people's houses and I cared for them, and I was hired through multiple companies. And I was not fired. But it was some situations about them paying me my money. Even one time, they had the nerve to give me a personal check, as if I was doing them some kind of favor or some shit. But they want black information, but they aren't one to teach it. So constantly through time, there have been concentration camps and all kinds of things. And it's today, and people get more and more creative. They get more and more education, and they get funded. They get grants. They get all kinds of money and stuff for their things. So if I am particular about what I eat or what I drink, that's on me. I'm not going to have somebody tell me that I'm sick, because I know that I want to be conscious. And I want to be careful about what it is, where I know that they are literally creating all kinds of diseases, all kinds of things right here in Wisconsin. Now, they may be doing it for a specific purpose, and sometimes things get out of hand. But why aren't they allowing black people to really teach these black people to be able to enter into these different schools and understand, or the programs? They mess up all kinds of stuff, put all kinds of stuff on my credit report, put all kinds of stuff on my background, and say, oh, well, I can only go in things like criminal justice, and that's not even teaching the law. They select only maybe an online degree, maybe something like that. But I'll be paying more for loans or whatever than I would be possibly making. They don't want me to go into education. They don't want me to teach. They don't want me to go into the health field. They don't want me to do it. So then when I try to do my entrepreneurial thing, they want to hate on that and try to, put roadblocks in my way and try to jail me constantly. When I try to work with people who have the power, they get worried about who I would become if I am, or if I have some sort of connection with that person. And they try to drag me all and do all kinds of things. They don't want to see that I can raise people to be suitable. They doing all kinds of stuff and having people settle for less. The employment around here, I have to struggle. I have to go through things. So if I'm allowing them to feed me, then if they want to starve me, then what? They have shown that constantly. And all I'm trying to do is live my life. I don't try to take up room in these people's places. I do everything that I do. I hold my own as best as I possibly can. To the utmost. And that matters to me so very much. For real. There is education out here, and these places, they are not teaching. And they are supposed, if they cannot teach, they are supposed to provide the transportation for them to get, and they cannot choose what somebody want to learn or whatever. They give a little class for 6 weeks and then try to tell somebody, oh, be this, and then they don't want different children learning calculus and to be able to find formulas and create things. But people know how to cook and clean. Different sciences and all that different stuff. They don't allow that. And I have proven that I can do the work, and they still don't. Them teachers was not advocating for me. They were keeping me so that they can continue to see my hairstyles and what I'm wearing and all that different shit and how smart my damn mouth is. But this is my mouth, and I'm a talk, and I'm a beautiful person. I might seem jacked up to the shallowness of it all, but I'm growing and I'm getting more and more beautiful, and I like myself, and I'm so grateful that I can see me for me. And a real person gonna know. Somebody who has sense don't have to be in all kind of cliques. People go out and they advocate for their people. They do all kinds of stuff, and then they try to make black people scared to even be around other black people. Geometry, calculus, pre-calculus, statistics, trigonometry, AP calculus, BC, mathematical analysis, probability, functions, finite mathematics, algebra 1, algebra 2, differential equations. I can pronounce these words, and I can read these words. So I should know all these things, and I am going to learn whatever I can learn about these things. I have so many different books and all that stuff in my house where those people rush me out of my house. Where I hired somebody and they just took all my shit and just threw all my stuff out and sprinkle it all around Kenosha. I don't know nobody else that shit have happened to. All the ways I am standing on my own 2 feet as the boss, as me. I'm not having somebody just to say that they're going to come along and take away from me and degrade me and discount me and all that kind of shit. I know what it looked like when somebody trying. The main topics they cover include algebra, functions and equations, trigonometry, vectors, statistics, probability, and calculus. Those are things to learn to be able to navigate through everyday life, to be able to think. But I'm so grateful that I know how to get through these things on my own. That's why I'm making sense for myself. So whatever it is I want to learn, I can learn. They changing up a lot of different things. They don't even want, like Nash. I'm gonna tell you, Nash School wasn't even sending my son homework no more. They didn't even want. It seemed like they didn't even want me to even see the damn homework. I would call, why my son don't have homework? They won't even send books. They don't even give books anymore. Well, they weren't giving us books, and I was telling them that we need the books, and they will say, okay, they're gonna get the books, instruments. They wouldn't even let my baby have an instrument. I signed up for it and everything. He didn't get his instrument. They have some explaining to do. They called social services on me and everything. And I had assumed Nash to be one of the best schools. And I'm sadly just very surprised. And I had been, I was not a poor parent at all for any means. I was up there. I was making sure the teachers had, I had, my children had, the other students. I was not on bullshit at all. I was showing the fuck up. And I was going through all kinds of stuff. So please, that's what I'm saying. I am me, and I have a right to something. And I'm Jasmine Renee Davis. I have to do some other things and be on my way very soon. Straight up. I don't have to settle for less from anybody. And it causes, and that's why people, no, okay, you have to understand. You must know. Yeah. I'm so pissed.